Everyone remembers the first time they stepped onto Pandora, the neon plants, the floating mountains, the sheer scale of looking up at a gas giant while running through a jungle. But this isn't the Pandora you remember. We're talking scorched earth. We're talking ash raining from the sky. And for the first time, we aren't just fighting the RDA in their metal suits, we're fighting our own. Today, we're ripping into the From the Ashes DLC for Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. And yeah, this is the big one. The update everyone has been screaming for, official third-person mode, is finally here, alongside a story that gets a lot darker, a lot grittier, and frankly, a lot more violent than the base game. I've been playing a review copy on PC for a few days, running through the burnt forests and trading arrows with the new Ash clan, and I've got some thoughts. If you thought the base game was just Far Cry with blue cats, you might want to pay attention, because the combat loop just got a serious shakeup. The DLC picks up about a year after the main campaign. The resistance is settled down, things are chill, but then the Fire Na'vi, or the Ash clan, roll into town and absolutely wreck the place. You aren't playing as your custom character from the base game this time, you're stepping into the boots, or bare feet I guess, of Solek. If you played the main story, you know him. He was that brooding, strong, silent warrior type who collected dog tags and had zero patience for nonsense. Now, he's the star. And honestly, it works, because Solek is already established as a badass. The game leans into that power fantasy immediately. You start the intro fully maxed out, skills blazing, weapons hitting like trucks, just tearing through enemies. It's a great way to remind you how good the movement feels before the game inevitably pulls the classic "strip your powers" move. You get left for dead, lose your gear, and have to rebuild from scratch. It's a trope, sure, but it gives you that zero-to-hero progression curve that makes the RPG elements actually matter. The biggest talking point here has to be the world design. Massive Entertainment already proved they could build a pretty jungle, but destroying it is a whole different beast. The new sub-region, the ravines, and the revisited areas from the main game look completely different. The bioluminescence is replaced by glowing embers. You aren't seeing pollen floating in the wind, you're seeing smoke. It's a mood. Technically, it runs smooth. I captured all this footage on PC and didn't hit any major snags outside of one weird bug where a quest marker vanished. A quick restart fixed it, no progress lost. But looking at the singed landscapes, the way the fire lighting hits the textures, it's impressive. It feels hostile in a way the original forest didn't. The original game was about wonder and connection. From the Ashes is about survival and aggression. Now we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the third-person mode. This isn't a mod, this is an official feature added with the update, and the devs clearly put some serious dev time into this. It's not just a camera toggle, they added full locomotion animations, transition states, the works. Here's the verdict. It's good, but it changes the game's DNA. In first person, Avatar is all about speed. You're sprinting across tree limbs, sliding under roots, and leaping 100-foot gaps. The sense of momentum is insane. When you switch to third person, that feeling of speed dampens a bit. You don't feel as fast and furious because the camera pulls back and the jumps look floatier. It honestly gives me a bit of a Bethesda vibe, like switching views in Skyrim or Fallout. It works, but the movement feels slightly less precise. However, for customization nerds, this is a godsend. You can finally see the gear you're crafting. You can see the new armor sets, chest pieces, leggings, headgear. It makes the loot grind feel way more rewarding when you're not just looking at a pair of blue hands for 40 hours. I found myself exploring in third person to soak in the visuals and see my character, then snapping back to first person for the intense indoor shootouts or platforming sections where I needed that hitbox precision. Speaking of shootouts, the combat has evolved because the enemy type has changed. Fighting the RDA was always about weak points, hitting vents on mechs or headshotting grunts, but the Ash clan? These guys are Na'vi. They move like you. They're fast, they're agile, and they're aggressive. Fighting someone your own size who can dodge your arrows and close the gap with a spear is terrifying. These Mongwin raiders are no joke. They're elite enemies that roam the world, and when you square off with one, it feels like a duel. It's not just shooting fish in a barrel anymore. You have to use your movement, your dodges, and the environment. When you do take them down, Solek collects their tokens, little trophies he keeps on his arm. It's a nice character detail that calls back to his dog tag collection in the main game. You can actually track your kills in the menu, which adds a nice layer of hunter roleplay to the open world. The progression system gets a reskin too. Instead of generic skill points, you're earning dog tags to unlock abilities in a fresh skill tree. The standout here is the warrior sense. It's basically a rage mode. You fill up a meter during combat, click both thumbsticks, L3 plus R3, and you go feral. You deal massive damage, take way less, and everything gets that red-tinted kill mode filter. It's incredibly satisfying to pop this when you're overwhelmed by RDA mechs and Ash Clan warriors simultaneously. You can upgrade it to last longer or add perks, and it solves one of the main game's issues where you sometimes felt a bit too squishy in big brawls. Now you have a panic button that turns you into a wrecking ball. The gameplay loop is still very Ubisoft, for better or for worse. You're clearing fog off the map, hunting for resources, and dismantling enemy operations, but the structure of taking down forts feels a bit more strategic here. You have the main fortresses, which are brutal if you attack head-on, but if you scour the region and take out the smaller supply camps and outposts first, you whittle down the fortress defenses. It rewards you for doing the side content rather than just rushing the boss. And the takedowns? Brutal. There are new finishing moves that really emphasize Solik's anger. Ripping pilots out of mech suits never gets old. The sound design here deserves a shout-out too. The thwack of a heavy bow hitting a target, the mechanical whine of the RDA suits, the crackle of the fire. It's punchy, it feels heavy. Let's look at the survival stuff. The food buffs are back. You're grabbing weird fruits, cooking them at campfires for stamina boosts or damage resistance. It's necessary, especially on higher difficulties. Flying your Ikron is still the best way to get around, and that moment where you jump off a cliff and your mount catches you mid-air, still the coolest feeling in the game. But the tone of the story is what kept me engaged. The main game was very James Cameron's greatest hits. Save the whales, save the trees. From the Ashes feels more personal. It's a revenge story. It's violent. Seeing the forests burn down gives you a genuine motivation to hunt down the Ash Clan. It's not just bad guys doing bad things. It feels like a violation of the world you spent the last game saving. So, is it worth your cash? If you bounced off Frontiers of Pandora because you hate the Ubisoft formula, the map markers, the crafting loops, and the repetitive camp clearing, this won't change your mind. It's more of that, just with a fresh coat of ash and better combat mechanics. But if you enjoyed the base game, or if you're just a fan of the Avatar universe, this is a solid pickup. The third-person mode alone breathes new life into the exploration, and playing as Solik offers a grittier perspective that the main game lacked. It's meaty, it's visually stunning, and it bridges the gap perfectly while we wait for the next movie. I want to hear from you guys though. Did you jump back in for the third-person update? Does fighting other Na'vi feel as cool to you as it does to me? Or do you miss the pure RDA smashing? And seriously, have you seen Fire at Ash in theaters yet? Let's get a discussion going in the comments. If this video helped you decide, drop a like, it really helps us out. Subscribe for more deep dives, more reviews, and more gameplay. Thanks for watching.